the Stoics, and obviously I am too, and it's, the Stoics talked about the importance and the power of reason, of being rational, of not falling prey to destructive or distracting emotions. And it strikes me that in The Laws of Human Nature, which is your new book, you're basically, your whole book is about the battle between our sort of lower irrational self and our higher rational self. And how do we get from one to the other?
Well, we get from one to the other by being aware of the lower self. So the lower self is the animal part of our nature. It's what makes us react emotionally to things. It's what makes us take the path of least resistance. We try and get shortcuts. We want immediate pleasures. We become addicted to things. We eat fast food.
Right.
Our higher self is less strong. It's like a voice that's weaker in our brain. That higher self you've experienced when you actually had an idea and you accomplished it, you executed it, you felt incredible rush of excitement that you actually did something that you thought you were going to accomplish. You have that higher self when you are empathetic to other people and you actually care about them and do a favor for another person. You feel better about yourself. I could go on and on and on. When you overcome your own weaknesses, you feed that higher self. It's a potential that each one of us has, and it's what we want in life. Now, the Stoics talk about logos and rational self, and that's sort of what I'm talking about in this higher part of ourselves. And the paragon of that I have in the book is Pericles, the great ancient Greek statesman. And Pericles is the paradigm for how to get out of that animal lower self.
Okay.
And his decision was, as a human being, I am naturally emotional, and I want to worship something. I want to value something in life. I want to say this is something that I love. For some people it's money. For other people it's wine and getting drunk. For other people it's sex. You cannot escape that. That's who I am. What is going to be the thing that I worship? It's going to be reason. It's going to be Athena. It's going to be thinking, nous in ancient Greek. I am going to worship rationality. I am going to love it as this incredible power. And I'm going to turn it into an emotional thing. I'm going to love thinking for itself. Because if you just say, oh, I'm just going to be rational, it's kind of worthless, because
Right.
you're always going to be fighting your emotions. But if in each situation you say, what gives me pleasure is not reacting in the animal way, but thinking my way through it, analyzing who I am, analyzing what I'm doing, and getting actual pleasure from that process, then you can conquer the lower self. And he is an amazing example, not studied enough in this world, because he practiced this as the leader of a great democracy under incredible amounts of pressure, making very important decisions all the time. And he was able to step away from all the heated arguing and irrationality that was plaguing Greek politics, and find out a middle course, a way of overcoming that in himself and in other people. So he's sort of the paragon for that.
And why do you think, if you look at where we are right now politically, culturally, in every way, if you pull up someone posts a political comment on Facebook or you're watching television, it appears that irrational thinking is the norm and that the lower self has taken over for almost everyone.
It's getting worse and worse and worse out there. I don't know what it is, if it's social media, if we're going through a period like, if you read a biography of Montaigne, and his moment when he was living in France, it was a moment of incredible turmoil and people were becoming insane and irrational. Maybe we're living through a moment like that. I talk in the book I have a book about generations and how things happen through history, and moments of great rationality in history are often followed by moments of extreme irrationality. It's what I call the animal spirits in us. We actually get pleasure from our emotions, from feeling anger, from feeling outrage. If your outrage and anger and hate can become addictive, It's the only way you feel alive. It gives you a rush of adrenaline. God, I hate that person. I hate Donald Trump. I want to kill Donald Trump, which is actually something I won't go into. But it kind of becomes literally a physical addiction.
Right.
And people are addicted to these emotions. It's the only way that they can feel alive. And to actually sit back and have to think about what they're saying on Facebook or how they're responding is painful. It's unpleasant. It means accepting that they could be wrong, that maybe their convictions and their outrage is misplaced, that their anger is foolish. Nobody wants to admit that. It's better to think, I'm righteous, I know what's right, fuck everybody else. And, you know, one of the main things in the book is we humans have aggressive impulses. I don't care who you are, the sweetest, most lovable person has aggressive impulses. And we have to find a way to channel them that are socially acceptable. Well, venting our outrage in social media and getting angry and saying, I hate these people, screw them, I'm gonna beat people up, is a way to vent your aggressive impulses, but disguise it to yourself. Right. Like, I'm not fighting because I'm violent, I'm fighting because I believe in a cause. Actually, you're fighting because you are violent. That is the primary motivation.
Sure.